Right now, depression affects hundreds of millions of people. It's one of the most common mental health problems on Earth, which raises a strange question. Did ancient humans get depressed too? Think about it. No smartphones, no social media, no jobs, no bills, no emails, no traffic, no alarm clocks, no Monday mornings. At first glance, ancient life sounds peaceful, almost relaxing. But then you remember something. Ancient humans watched people die. They lost children. They went hungry. They lived through brutal winters. Some were attacked by predators. Some lost everything overnight. If anyone should have been depressed, it should have been them. So were they? The answer is surprisingly complicated, and it may reveal something important about why so many people struggle today. For a long time, scientists assumed depression was a modern problem. After all, rates of depression appear to be rising, especially in developed countries, especially among young people. But then researchers started asking a different question. If depression is modern, why do we find descriptions of it throughout history? Ancient Greek writings describe people who lost interest in life. Ancient Chinese texts describe persistent sadness. Even some of the oldest surviving records mention people overwhelmed by despair. Whatever depression is, it doesn't seem to be new. Humans have probably been struggling with it for thousands of years. But that creates another mystery. If depression existed back then, why does it seem so much more common now? Let's start with something most people never think about: loneliness. Today, millions of people spend large portions of the day alone. Some work alone, eat alone, commute alone, sleep alone. But for most of human history, being alone was unusual. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies found that people spent much of their lives surrounded by others, cooking together, traveling together, sleeping near each other, working together, surviving together. Privacy was rare, solitude was rare, human contact was constant. And that's important, because the human brain evolved in those conditions, not the conditions most of us live in today. But maybe loneliness isn't the answer. After all, people can feel lonely in a crowd. So let's look at something else: movement. Ancient humans moved constantly, not because they wanted to stay healthy, because survival required it. Walking, climbing, carrying, hunting, gathering, exploring. Researchers estimate that some hunter-gatherers covered several miles every single day. Compare that to modern life. Many people wake up, sit in a car, sit at work, sit at home, and repeat. What's interesting is that exercise is now one of the most commonly recommended tools for improving mood, something ancient humans got automatically, without gyms, without fitness influencers, without even understanding what exercise was. But here's where things get weird. Ancient humans had another advantage, one that's almost impossible to buy today: a clear purpose. Think about waking up 50,000 years ago. You already knew what mattered. Food mattered. Shelter mattered. Your family mattered. Your tribe mattered. Every action had visible consequences. Today, many people struggle with something ancient humans rarely faced: meaninglessness. Not hunger, not predators, not survival. Meaninglessness. And psychologists have spent decades studying how purpose affects mental health. The results are surprisingly consistent. People who feel their lives have meaning tend to be happier, healthier, and more resilient. Ancient humans didn't always have easy lives, but they usually knew why they were doing what they were doing. Now here's the part nobody expects. Some researchers think depression may actually have served a purpose. This idea is controversial, but stay with me. Imagine a hunter repeatedly failing, getting injured, making bad decisions, taking unnecessary risks. In some situations, withdrawing temporarily could actually be beneficial. Less action, more reflection, more caution. Some scientists argue that depression-like states may have evolved because they sometimes helped humans deal with difficult situations. In other words, the brain wasn't necessarily malfunctioning. It might have been responding to a problem. But there's a catch. Ancient humans lived in environments that changed quickly. Problems appeared, then disappeared. Food shortages ended. Seasons changed. Conflicts resolved. Modern problems are often different. Stress can last for years. Debt can last for decades. Social comparison never stops. The internet follows you everywhere, and that may change how the brain responds. So, did ancient humans ever get depressed? Almost certainly. They experienced grief, loss, fear, sadness, despair, just like we do. They were human, but they also lived in a world that gave them things modern humans often lack: constant social connection, daily movement, direct contact with nature, clear purpose, and perhaps most importantly, their brains evolved for that world, not this one. Which leads to a final question. If an ancient human suddenly appeared in your life tomorrow, which would seem stranger, their world or ours? Because after 300,000 years of human history, we may have created the most comfortable world humans have ever lived in, and yet many of us are struggling more than ever to feel okay. Maybe the mystery isn't why ancient humans got depressed. Maybe the mystery is why so many of us do. And if questions like this make you think, consider subscribing, because the next one gets even stranger.